In Game 4 of the LCK Grand Finals between Hanwha Life and Gen.G, Hanwha Life looked poised to secure the Baron, win the game, and potentially gain the momentum to reverse sweep Gen.G. Gen.G, however, had other ideas, and during the Game 4 Baron setup, broke some of the rules of setup to create chaos and outplay Hanwha Life, even though they were behind. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some of the concepts teams use to set up for dragons and neutral objectives, and how Gen.G broke the rules and used some of those habits against Hanwha Life in order to secure the game and the LCK title. As always, if you've been enjoying my videos, please don't forget to subscribe. I really appreciate it when you do. Alright, let's get into our first point. We'll start this one off by taking a look at the clip that we watched in the intro. Now, this was a really important sequence in the series because it goes from HLE being ahead to Gen.G getting the Baron and really starting to retake the momentum in the game, which allowed them to win the series. Now, usually what you'll do for a Baron or a Dragon setup is you'll look to push the midwave in as deep as you can, and then after you've pushed the midwave in, you can then rotate over to either their jungle or the river, and then set up pink wards and have some green wards ahead of those pink wards. So I think in this game we've got a pink ward here and we'll have some green wards ahead here. And then what you can do is you can disappear. You can come back mid if you want to push it again, but you can mostly disappear and then you can just sit on those pink wards, right? And then the enemy team doesn't know if you've started Baron or not. You know, they have to use blue trinkets or they have to face check in order to see if you've started it. Now, crucially, that's exactly what HLE is going to want to do here. They're going to play this by the book. They're going to group up on mid. They're going to start shoving in this mid wave. And then if Gen.G allowed them to, they would just push Gen.G all the way back on mid. And then they would rotate and disappear. And for Gen.G this game, it's really difficult for them to face check this Baron. Their composition like Blitzcrank and Pantheon are not the best champions to do this. However, this is where we'll see that really, really cool call come in from Gen.G, where Gen.G knows that this suffocation is about to happen. And so then what they'll do now is that knowing that in maybe 30 seconds or a minute they won't have a chance to fight this Baron, they just instantly all go to it and start it. And then if we pause here, we can now see that we've gone from where Hanwha Life was going to plan to suffocate out HLE to now you've got a split river. You've got Gen.G on one side of the river and Hanwha Life on the other side. And also, you've created a bit of chaos. So it's not like HLE can just play things by the book and then slowly suffocate out Gen.G here as well. Also, you'll see that chaos come in now where HLE will just blow Lucian ulti and also they're going to blow the Ornn ultimate in exchange for one flash, which is not really worth it. Alright, and then this is where that chaos really comes in as well, because you've got Keen down on this bottom side of the map, and then you've got other members of Gen.G up here, the core, and crucially, if you actually see on that mini-map now, you'll see that Cassiopeia is actually going to flank in a second as well. And this is where Hanwha Life will make a huge mistake, where they will apply far too many resources down onto Keen. They're going to have Skarner in a second moving down to Keen, and also Viper has absolutely cut himself off with where this Yorick is. And that'll mean that Cassiopeia is going to be able to move through with the core of Gen.G and outnumber and flank the core of Hanwha Life, and then they'll be able to completely blow up the Ornn. So that's exactly what happens. Too many resources onto Keen, flank from Chovy, and now they'll blow up the Ornn. And then after Ornn is died, the center has collapsed from Hanwha Life, Peanut's caught out as well, and Gen.G will be able to kill Peanut, and as we know afterwards, they'll be able to get the Baron, and eventually they'll go on to win this game. Alright, and for the second clip, a little bit less of an important objective, but I want to talk about a dragon setup, because we've got a dragon coming up in about 30 seconds, and also this time the game is more even. Now, crucially, dragon setups are a little bit different than barons, unless it's an elder dragon or a dragon soul that is important. Now, the reason for this is that you can put all of your resources, all of your eggs into taking a baron or an elder dragon, because the benefits you get from it are massive. They're usually what I would call like game winning, right? Or at the very least, like game influencing. But a dragon, if it's just a first, second, or third dragon, or even some of the worst souls, it's not going to change the outcome of the game. So if you put too many resources into taking it, then the opponent may be able to get more back in terms of space on the map, right? So what you usually see teams do is, first of all, the same thing will apply where they'll try to keep the mid pressure, right? So they'll pressure in mid, and then depending upon how far ahead they are, they'll then try and suffocate out the jungle or suffocate out the river. And then also, if you look at the minimap, they'd usually try and push in this side wave as well, and they try to get mid wave and side wave in. And then they'll try to take dragon with less resources once the opponent has given control of the area, or if it's clear that there's not going to be a fight. Because again, we don't want to spend too much on the dragon, right? And that's what we'll see from HLE here, where they've got Yunara on mid against Kaiser, and the wave's coming, and then Delight comes into mid, and then they just start pushing it. Now, Peanut is down in this bottom river. Actually, he's a little bit caught out, but Hanwha Life is going to get that mid wave push. But we know that Hanwha Life wants to, after they push this mid wave, somebody from Gen.G should show mid, and then Hanwha Life should be able to walk in and secure control of this river. However, if you look at that minimap, you can see Kaiser and Rakan have already started moving. They're already walking down towards the river, and also Xin Zhao is just gunning it straight to this river as well. And also on that minimap, we can see Gwen is flanking behind mid. So this crucial space next to mid lane from the bottom side is already being contested by Gen.G, even though they haven't pushed in the next bottom wave, right? The wave for the dragon, and also they've just ignored this mid wave too. And then Hanwha Life will continue to sort of play by the book, where this wave is being pushed, and then members are moving across. But actually, even though they've got the wave push, which usually means safety, this area is not safe for Hanwha Life, right? There's going to be numbers advantage from Gwen coming in from behind, from Kaiser up here, and from Xin Zhao who's coming in too. So it's not safe for Delight in here, and also it wouldn't be too safe for Peanut as well, because they'll be outflanked, right? And then yeah, that's what'll happen now, is that Delight is going to walk in, but it's not safe for him to be there. He's going to lose his flash, and then the members of Gen.G will just chase down. Now, crucially here, Hanwha Life is now put in a very unusual situation where they're already down a member, and Gen.G's kind of behind them, right? Gen.G's like in this area behind them. So it creates this strange situation for Hanwha Life where they either have to sort of give up the objective and just reset, or they have to take this fight. And in the end, they'll choose to take this fight. And this is where we'll see mistakes coming in the chaos. Gen.G able to retain formation. Rumble will flash over the wall, get one shot. And then now there'll be a bit of a chase down to end off the fight. But we see a 2 for 0 coming through from the members of Gen.G. And at the end of this, no one else will die, I think. At the end of this, both teams will pull out, and then Gen.G will take the dragon. So again, another situation where you can see how the book is meant to go for getting that control over that dragon area, but how Gen.G, instead of playing for the waves, they just focus on what is Hanwha Life going to do next. Then they get in that space ahead of Hanwha Life, and then just create a temporary advantage. And that's all it takes for Gen.G to be able to win. That's it for today's video. But before we finish up, I do just want to inform anyone who's still watching and anyone who's interested that I am now offering coaching. You can head over to my Patreon, and you can either buy a set of 1 or a set of 5 coaching sessions directly through Patreon. Or if you want to organize private coaching, you can also message me on Discord. In addition, I am trying my best to upload different content on Patreon too, like concept breakdowns, some laning phase videos, and I'll do my best to add in like more knowledge which a professional coach can provide. I'm not able to do this full time, so I will just try my best to upload as much as I can, but I really appreciate anyone who supports me by buying coaching or supporting me on Patreon. All right, we'll finish off there for today. Thanks so much for your support. See you next time.